Hello, party people. Um, Today I would like to talk about something that is not only personal to me, but something that is also pertinent to the current circumstances of politics. Something in politics is something I've always took a keen interest in, not only during the election years, but just overall. And I think it'll kind of speak into why I haven't really ever actually participated in politics. Um, I study it, but I don't participate in it. And this video will kind of cover why. So, this topic will be about the Pendleton Act of 1883. Um, what it basically covers is it gets rid of the spoils system of hiring federal workers or politicians, and it introduced a merit-based system. So now they're people that are running for office and or elected have to pass certain tests, merit-based tests, to make sure that they are able to get in the position that they're being hired for. Which is very ironic because, the whole DEI initiative that Trump wants to get rid of, it kind of plays hand in hand. However, I can say that, his cabinet literally is the richest cabinet in all of the history of the United States. I forgot how many billions his cabinet is worth. Not too much merit base behind that. I really don't know how Linda McMahon ended up becoming Secretary of Education. What's her merit? I know she has a degree, but it's not in education. Nevertheless, it introduces a new system, and it also gets rid of patronage, which is the ability of other politicians to fund campaigns for fellow politicians, which was more so looking like inwards corruption, is what the Pendleton Act of 83 was trying to get rid of. The reason why it was introduced was because of the assassination of James Garfield. He was assassinated in 1881 by a disgruntled federal worker, or a disgruntled worker. I'm not sure if he was federal or not, but he was assassinated due to a disgruntled worker. And Senator George Pendleton was the one that introduced the bill, and it became law in 83. That's why it's called the Pendleton Act of 83. What that ended up doing, by getting rid of the patronage that was going on inside of the federal government, it allowed corporations to now fund political campaigns. Of course, this is 83, so by this time, Citizens United has not been introduced to where corporations can have unlimited amount of funding via super PACs, which is political action committees. I think in the previous episode, I couldn't really actually remember what the acronym was, but yes, political action committees. Once that was introduced, I believe it was 2012. That allowed super PACs and all different type of corporations to buy out your politicians. AKA, you really don't have a vote. It is the corporations and pharmaceutical companies and military industrial complex and gas and oil, and like, those are the ones that really run our government, and that's why that's why the policies of the nation is the way it is. But the Pendleton Act unintentionally, although it had many great benefits to how the federal government was going about getting or bringing in new politicians, it messed up by allowing corporations to then be able to fund political campaigns. And once that happened, that started the flood of dark money in our politics. And it's something that people don't really want to talk about, but it is something that actually exists. There's a lot of dark money in our politics because people get paid by different PACs. AIPAC being one of the most known ones at the current moment, just due to how much of a stranglehold Israel has on the United States. I also believe that there is a religious tie to why the United States supports Israel as much as it does. I believe the Christian nationalists want to see the coming or the building of the third temple. So does Israel. That's where their common interest is, even though it diverges at what happens when the third temple is built. One believes that there's Messiah is coming, the other believes that the Antichrist is coming. They both know this, but I guess they just don't care. Nevertheless, back to the actual topic. When you allow different corporations and foreign entities, which AIPAC is, it's a foreign political action committee, it sways the interest because money rules all, apparently. And I don't understand why, because we're the only sentient creatures on this planet that uses a monetary system. I've been saying that a lot recently, and I feel like this is going to be my catchphrase going forward, because to me it doesn't really make any sense how we are the only ones that do this existence like this, when we can observe other sentient creatures and how they live. But I guess I'm just, off the rocker or whatever. The reason why this is personal to me is because my great-grandfather, his name is George Pendleton. My name is Brenton Pendleton, Brenton Charles Pendleton, of no relation to the Senator George Pendleton. However, I do carry the same last name as the man that put that act into place. So, studying history shows us how we got where we are. And since our president was assassinated, it allowed corporations to come in and now do the bidding of politicians and how they get in power. And it's been that way ever since. It was probably that way beforehand too, but it was just under the table. It is exactly how Elon Musk was able to get his hands and create a whole committee himself within the government. Doge. That's exactly how he was able to get in, because he was able to donate, or is it $230 million to Trump's political campaign? You tell me what that is. And now we see what is coming from it. Social Security, one of the most popular, not one of the most, it is the most popular government program that has been introduced since this nation's creation, that actually benefits and polls well across all demographics in every generation. It says we're constantly my generation believes that we're not going to be able to receive Social Security benefits because the funds are depleting, even though it will still be able to make its payments if it remains funded the way it is now. The payments will decrease in time as the funding goes down, but the way you solve that is just by lifting a cap of the taxable income. As of right now, I forget the specific amount, but it's no more than $500,000. Like, I believe if you make over $500,000 a year, as of right now, if you make any income you make over a certain amount, I'm not saying 5,000 right now. Well, I'm just saying that because it's a number that I can remember, but I'm not sure what the specific number is. But all the money that you make over that threshold does not get taxed by Social Security. You don't have to worry about Social Security affecting that at all. And there's a lot of people in this country that make over $500,000 a year. All you gotta do is just lift that a little bit. You don't even have to go crazy. Just lift it a little bit. And that's way more money being flooded back into the Social Security program. It's not a radical idea. It's not radical at all. Because we all pay into it. And Social Security is what allows us to keep our senior citizens and people like my grandma, my mom, when she gets up to that age, me when I get up to my age, that age, allowed to eat. and be humans. Like, it's a basic first world, at this point, necessity. It was supposed to be a first world civilization, but so what do y'all think? I think the Pendleton Act needs to be reformed. I think it introduced a lot of great ideas. It had a great moral basis of actually putting in a merit-based system. I think it just needs to be reformed. Many bills and acts have been reformed throughout this country's history. Why not the Pendleton Act? Coming from Brenton Pendleton.